You were talking about just the business aspect of, just having a bourbon company. What advice would you give to someone who wants to start a bourbon or whiskey or some sort of spirits company at this current moment? What would it be?
So everybody's going to tell you the same three things, I think. The first thing I will tell you that is absolutely critical is buy the real estate first. Own the property, own the building, have control. If you don't think you can afford it, then you don't have enough money to start a bourbon business. I don't believe, especially now that there is almost no wholesale bourbon available at any price. I think it is very, very difficult to bootstrap your way into this business like we did with a credit card. And even though I say we did that, Mike and I and our wives were still able to write a big enough check to do a down payment, right? We had the money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We had the credit to buy, $500,000 in land and building.
Yeah.
Second, make sure you have enough capital to make enough bourbon. So your future growth depends on what ages to maturity 3 years from now, 3.5 years from now. When I started in the business, I thought that people who thought that bourbon needed to be 4 or 5 years old were snobs, and it would be perfectly good at 2 years, 2.5 years. They're right. Okay. If it's not 4 years old, 3.5 in this climate, you're not going to compete. Right. So, make sure you have enough money to shovel, make that first 100 barrels. And when people hire me as a consultant, which I don't really do that much anymore, the first thing I tell them is before you do anything, find a mash bill you like, find the cuts that you like. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go take some classes and actually get some hands-on experience. But once you do all that, you need to make 100 barrels and just put them up for aging. Because by the time you buy the land, get the facility commission, get all your permits and everything, you're only going to have 6 or 8 months to wait for that bourbon to be saleable. And you'll be able to get your production process up and running and open your doors. But it takes a huge amount of money. So 100 barrels of bourbon right now, if you can find someone with capacity, is probably $125,000. Right? And so you're either investing that money or spending it. Now, we didn't do that. We were putting up, 3 a week for a long time. And we had some product we had made before. And we just went very slowly and we're very small. I mean, I still get people coming over here. They're like, man, I've lived around the corner for 3 years. I've never known you even here.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, we're small.
Yeah.
We're small. And we can't grow that big. We pulled out of Virginia and South Carolina because we didn't have enough bourbon.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to remember, as soon as you sell a barrel that is too young, it's not up to quality. I don't even mean age. It just might not be mature yet. Every barrel is different. Some of the barrels will be mature younger. But, you sell that bad bourbon, you've just destroyed your brand.
Yeah.
Anybody who buys that is never going to buy a second bottle. And so that's a big part of it. I would say if you asked me to start another bourbon business today and to be 100% comfortable that you would get that to profit, assuming, you know what you're doing and you know how to make the product, I would want probably $6 or $7 million. That would make me feel really comfortable. I think you could probably do it with 4, but it's a lot of money. It's capital intensive, and that's you pulling a paycheck too. If you can live without a paycheck, knock $500,000 off of that for the money you're going to need for the first 4 years, 5 years.